Good evening, one and all, and welcome to the Bellefleur Tire Shop Grand Falls Greenfoot Rapids pregame show. Tyler Rains with you here, as always. It's going to be a fun night of hockey. It's Friday night, which means it is time to go back to the EMP Seneschal Center once more for another division rival matchup. The West Kent Steamers have made the trip all the way up from Bouctouche. They are fresh off of a game in Edmonton last night. We're going to talk about that and much more on the show this evening, including a new Rapids acquisition, as well as a very familiar face playing in his 150th game here this evening. So without further ado, we're going to jump right into the stats. The tail of the tape pre-game edition. So the Rapids obviously boasting a 2-0-0 record. Oliver Plant and Nathan Plemons-Michaud leading the way in goals, each tied with 2 apiece. Julien Avignon-Bourque with the team lead in assists with 2, and he is also leading the team in points with 3 as well. For the West Kent Steamers, a 2-1-0 record on the season. Noah Larochelle leading the way for the Steamers with 2 goals. Nathan Grenier with 5 assists and leading the team overall in points with 5 as well. Then we get into the team stats. So both these teams have, they're pretty far off the goals for lead, but they still have quite a bit when it comes to their goals for. The Rapids scoring 8 goals so far through their first 2 games, and the Steamers, on the other hand, scoring 9 goals through their first 2 games. Obviously, 2 teams that, they've scored a lot, but the big difference between this is that the Steamers have let up 12 goals against, where the Rapids have only let up 2. So this is going to be a big game for both teams. Obviously, the Rapids looking to continue their undefeated streak and rectify that 2-6 record from last season as well. Obviously, it's something that you want to forget. But this is the big thing as well, is that it's important to note the history between these 2 teams. Obviously, historically, the Steamers have the better record, but in games where it really counts, in games where it's very tight, very close, the Rapids have won more games than not. And like I mentioned, they're 2-6 last season against the Steamers, but those 2 games that they won were close games. They were not blowouts, or they were not, come from behind victories. They were very close games. And that seems to be a theme with this team so far, is just coming in clutch when you need them to. And something that you've seen and you will see, I think, for a majority of the season is going to be how effective this group can be. Now, going back to the goals against, I was getting a little bit off track here. The Rapids have only let up 2. The Steamers let up 12. That's a minus 10 goal differential, or a 10 goals against the differential between these 2 teams. Their special teams, well, let's just say that their penalty kills have been very good. The Grand Falls Rapids an 88.9% on the penalty kill, 4th overall in the division, where the West Kent Steamers are a 92.9% on the penalty kill. That's 2nd place overall in the division as well. When it comes to the power play, the West Kent Steamers are 7.1%. That's 3rd overall in the division, and the Rapids still yet to convert on the power play this season. Don't panic. Still early. Not to worry at all about that. This team will find its sea legs, and it's going to grow even better when it comes to its special teams. So we talked a little bit about how this was going to be a big night, not just for the teams that are facing off in a rivalry situation, but this is also going to be a big night in terms of returns for the Grand Falls Rapids. And who am I referencing here, you're wondering? Now, you may see a familiar face around the rink. Last season, Dawson Grandy played for the Grand Falls Rapids before being dealt to the Valley Wildcats. He did play quite a few games for the Rapids. In his brief stint with them, he's going to be returning tonight as well. Presumably, he will be in the lineup. Loic Nadeau is the other one who is returning. I would assume that he would likely not be in the lineup tonight. They've got a good thing going over in West Kent, and I just don't see him coming back to Grand Falls quite yet. His moment will come, but I don't think it's going to be tonight. Obviously, we obviously know how these 2 got there. The Steamers ended up acquiring Dawson Grandy in the offseason in a trade that sent him from Valley to West Kent for an unnamed player. However, this is far from the last time that we are going to see Grandy. He is a guy who you don't really want to underestimate. And we talked about this with certain players, especially last game with Edmundston, right? Like Emile Fournier, for example, right? He's not quite that superstar caliber player, but he is one of those guys that if you give him the right moment, he will take advantage and he will make you pay any time that you're near him. So do not give him any time. Do not give him any space. That's going to be one of the big killers tonight. And because he knows this team, not obviously this iteration of this team, but because he has played for this team before, he has a little bit of familiarity, at least, on how the atmosphere is. So that will kind of feed them as well. West Kent, I mean, look, you can say what you want about them and how they're a team that struggled early in the season, but have they really? I mean, yes, they've let up a lot of goals, but this team is still a very deadly team, and they're quite young as well. So like the Grand Falls Rapids, they're still a young team. They're still developing. They're still trying to get their legs under them. And this is a great opportunity for both teams to kind of prove themselves, not just to the rest of the league, but to the division. It's right now a three-way tie for first place in the Eastlink North Division between Chaleur, Grand Falls, and West Kent. And the winner of tonight's game will take that sole possession of first place. I don't believe that Chaleur is in action tonight. If they are, I am just going to double check on that. Sometimes, when you have the stats in front of you, it's, you don't always have everything, but when you do, it's very helpful, ladies and gentlemen. So Edmundston and Chaleur are playing tonight. They are hosting the Blizzard in Bathurst at the KC Irving Center. Now, here is the big thing. So let's just say that Edmundston does end up winning, Chaleur ends up losing, and Grand Falls ends up winning. Let's just say that this is best case scenario. This is going to be a big game, not just for the Rapids, but for, I think, overall the season and how this is going so far for this team. But this is a big weekend. Don't forget, it's West Kent and Grand Falls tonight, and then the Rapids take the trip to Miramichi and play at the Miramichi Civic Center, against the Timberwolves on Sunday afternoon. So this is a big rivalry weekend, it's not quite as big as opening weekend, but it's still a very important one because you want to try and, like I said, get that early division lead. We saw that with Edmundston last year and how effective they were early season stages. They won a lot of games in a row and they just kept winning. They didn't back down. They didn't stop. They didn't really have that slow-paced roll to the rest of the season, and look where it got them. So you want to get there early. You want to get those early points, take the lead, and not back down because this is going to really, really help the momentum going through the rest of the season. And I think they've got a good thing going on in terms of chemistry. Now, speaking of chemistry, the Rapids made a signing over the last couple of days. He is a local kid from Grand Falls, had 78 points in 41 games at Stansted College last season, and he is a third-round pick in 2023, the 28th overall pick in the MHL draft in 2023. And you're probably wondering, Tyler, who the hell are you talking about? Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to Zachary Michaud. For those who are unfamiliar with him, you definitely know who he is because he's been at Rapids training camp last season, and he made a really big impact. He obviously did not quite make the team, but now he's officially committed to the Rapids, and this is a guy who is very exciting to watch, super explosive when it comes to his speed and his playmaking ability. And this is a player who I think a lot of people are excited about, not just for the fact that he is a great player, but he's also a local kid as well. Now, everybody that I've been talking to this season has been super, super excited about this group and what they've been able to accomplish so far in the early stages. Adding Zachary Michaud to an already super talented group of players, I think is going to not only just strengthen the lineup, but is really, really going to help as well. Now, one thing that a lot of people have been asking is, can Michaud come in and potentially be that power play quarterback? And we'll see. It's anything, time will tell, but I think that this would be a good opportunity for him to really get his legs under him and to start feeding the fire that is this Rapids lineup. So they've obviously struggled on the power play this season, but like I mentioned, it's still early and there's a lot of time left. We're at game 3 of 52 on this season. Don't forget, it's only game 3 of 52. There are still a lot of games left, 49 games left to play this season. But with how young this team is, with how much willingness and I think how much strength they have, this is going to be a very, very interesting turn, I think, this weekend in terms of their games. And it's going to be a very interesting rest of the season as well. So like I said, we're only 3 games in. But if this team is playing like this for, let's just say, a good while, this could be a really, really exciting season to watch. The other thing was Jack Brown is closing in on his 150th game. So we talked about this a little bit earlier. I gave it in the preview that we had a Rapids vet playing in his 150th game this season. It's a big one for him. A lot of people are very excited. A lot of congratulations going around to him. 150 games is a big milestone, especially in Junior A when it comes to that. 150 games, man, if you're able to play that long, that just solidifies how great of a player you truly are, because you're able to stick around on a lineup and make an impact in such a way that the teams, you'll be a valuable, not just a player, but a valuable piece in the community. I'm stumbling over my words. I apologize. A valuable piece of the community, and not just that, but obviously on the team as well. So Jack Brown, just a little bit of a history, right? Drafted by the Campbellton Tigers in 2023. He was the 20th overall pick. So the same year that Zachary Michaud was drafted, just 8 picks earlier was Jack Brown. Was brought to Grand Falls along with a conditional 3rd-round pick from the Tigers in this year's draft in exchange for Marco LeBlanc and West Kent's 3rd-round pick last season. And one of the, I think, has become a really big fan favorite in the community, not just for, his on-ice antics and the way that he plays in his defensive role, but just how personable he is. I mean, all of the times that I've gotten the chance to talk to people who have talked to him in the community and all the conversations that I've had, you're going to see this as well in the post-game show, not to give you a little bit of a spoiler, but I just did. So he is just one of the most personable players that is on this roster, and very, very exciting for him to be able to skate in his 150th game. So he really has become a fan favorite, and you think of the heart and soul of this team. He's a leader. He's a guy who's going to be very vocal, and he's a guy who cares a lot about this team, not just winning, but keeping everybody in it and keeping everybody together as a group. Jack Brown playing in his 150th game in the MHL. It's going to be very exciting. It's going to be a hell of a game between 2 rival teams. Zachary Michaud making his debut tonight, of course, and a lot of really fun things planned. Stick around for the Bellefleur Tire Shop Grand Falls Greenfoot Rapids post-game show happening after the game. It's going to be a really fun one. We're going to talk to Jack Brown, the milestone man himself, and it's going to be a very fun game. Hopefully we'll have a very good result of this game tonight. Until then, I will see you up in the booth on Flow Sports. If you are planning on watching at home, tune into the game, 7 o'clock. It's when puck drop happens. But if you are planning on coming to the game tonight, make sure you're going to make noise. Be there, be in your seats, and jump up and down. Do whatever you need to do to make some noise and get the boys pumped up. Until then, thank you very much for watching. If you haven't already done so, hit that subscribe button, hit the little bell notification for all future content, and stay tuned to the channel for the Bellefleur Tire Shop Grand Falls Greenfoot Rapids post-game show. We'll see you soon.